Ladies and gentlemen, my name is Ryan Awesome, and welcome to the Ryan Awesome Show. Now, today on the Ryan Awesome Show, we'll be talking about WrestleMania Backlash 2021. Now, man, this pay-per-view, man, it was okay. It wasn't the best show. It wasn't all that good. Some parts of the show was freaking terrible. That lumberjack match was terrible, but I'm gonna get into that later. But, it's like the beginning. It's like the beginning of the show. It felt like it was uninterested. It felt like it was bland, like in the beginning of the show. But everything towards the middle and the end, it started to pick up. I really didn't care about most of the matches on the show. I only cared about the Roman Reigns and Cesaro match. That's the only match that I did care about. But we did have some great matches on this show. Some, I'm saying some. We had some great matches on this show. The tag team championship match with the Mysterios versus Dolph Ziggler and Bobby Roode was good. The Smackdown Women's Championship match was good, and of course the Roman Reigns and Cesaro match was good. And that's all that's the positives that I found out of this show. But the show, it wasn't completely bad, but it's just some parts it wasn't some parts wasn't good. It just wasn't good. Some parts were, but overall, as an overall show, it was okay. It was decent. And so yeah, this is the WrestleMania Backlash review, WrestleMania Backlash 2021 review on the Ryan Awesome Show. And if you haven't done this already, man, what are you waiting for, man? Hit the thumbs up. Hit the thumbs up. And if you're new here, hit that subscribe button. And right next to that subscribe button, there's a bell. Make sure you click on that bell so be the first ones to know when my next video will come out, because I am here each and every single week. So make sure you subscribe to the channel. You hit the thumbs up first and you press that subscribe button. And then right next to that subscribe button, there's a bell. You click on that bell so you'll be the first ones to know when my next video will come out. And so yeah, man. So yeah, we started off the show. So yeah, first off, we had the pre-show. Now with the pre-show, I usually don't watch the pre-shows because it's unimportant and nothing happens on the pre-show. They just getting you hyped for the show and they go over the matches and everything. But we did have one match on the show. Apparently, we had Ricochet versus Sheamus, the United States champion Sheamus. And so I didn't watch the match, but Sheamus, he had won the match. And so I don't know if it was for the U.S. title or not, but Sheamus, he wins the match. Why wasn't this on the main show? Why this wasn't on the main show, I don't know. But yeah, that was it with that. And so yeah, we started off the show. We started off the main show with the Raw Women's Championship match, the triple threat match. And it was Charlotte Flair versus Asuka versus Rhea Ripley, who is the Raw Women's Champion. And so yeah, so we had Ripley and Asuka. They try to go after Flair because Flair is the biggest threat. And so yeah, they attack Flair. And so yeah, so Ripley and Asuka, they went back and forth at one point. And so we had a fallaway slam to Asuka from Charlotte on the floor outside of the ring. And so we had Ripley and Charlotte. They went back and forth. They started fighting. And so Ripley, she had took out Charlotte and Asuka with drop kicks. And so yeah, so Charlotte, she had tripped up Rhea Ripley on the ring apron. And then Charlotte, she started to work on Asuka. And so Charlotte, she was talking trash to Asuka, saying that you'll never beat me. And so we had Charlotte, she had a cartwheel and she turned it into a big boot to Asuka. And so yeah, so Asuka, she started fighting back with kicks. And so Asuka, she had locked in the armbar submission move to Charlotte. But Charlotte, she had put her foot on the rope. But of course, it doesn't count. The rope break doesn't count because there's no disqualifications and no rope breaks in triple threat matches and no DQ. And so yeah, we had chops to Asuka from Charlotte. So Charlotte, she started chopping Asuka. And so we had clotheslines to Charlotte from Ripley. And then Ripley, she had hit a Northern Light suplex to Charlotte. And so Asuka, she had broke up the pin. She had broke up the pin. And so we had German suplexes to Charlotte from Asuka. And so we had a hip attack. We had a hip attack to Rhea Ripley from Asuka. And so Asuka, she kicks Charlotte and Ripley at the same time over and over and over again. And so yeah, we had a sliding knee to Charlotte from Asuka. And so yeah, we had a diving drop kick to Rhea Ripley from Asuka. And then Charlotte, she had knocked Asuka out of the ring at one point. and then Charlotte she had went for a top rope moonsault. I don't like the moonsault. I don't like the moonsault that she does it. Like the way she does it, I don't like the moonsault. It looked like she doesn't connect all the way. But she does. I love it when she does the Spanish fly. That's the move that she should stick to. That Spanish fly, that top rope Spanish fly. And so yeah, she hit the top rope moonsault to both Ripley and Asuka outside the ring. And so yeah, we had a double superplex to Charlotte from Asuka and Ripley. And so yeah, all three of these ladies they were going back and forth with strikes. And so yeah, we had headbutts to Charlotte and Asuka from Ripley. And so yeah, so we had a double chop block. We had a double chop block to Ripley and Asuka from Flair. So Flair is taking a page out of her father's book with that chop block. And so yeah, we had a double natural selection to both Rhea Ripley and Asuka. And so Charlotte she tries to pin both Ripley and Asuka at the same time. So she tried to pull off a Roman Reigns, but it didn't work. And so yeah, we had a code breaker to Charlotte from Asuka. And we had a big boot. We had a big boot to Ripley from Charlotte. And so yeah, we had a kick to Charlotte. So yeah, so Asuka she kicked Charlotte and Ripley, and we had a big boot to Asuka from Charlotte. And so to end the match, we had Rhea Ripley. She hit a finishing move, the Riptide, to Asuka to win the match. So Rhea Ripley she wins the match and is still the Raw Women's Champion. And so yeah, the match it was fine. The match was good, but you know, Asuka man, Asuka she is screwed, man. She is screwed. She has been booked like trash. She got pinned. She got pinned in the match, and so I think Charlotte should have been pinned in the match. I think Charlotte should have been pinned in the match. That's just me, but I had a feeling that Charlotte was gonna win. Like I was expecting WWE to give Charlotte the belt, but I really wanted Ripley to retain the title by pinning Charlotte, so Ripley could get her win back. But they didn't go that way, and so yeah, man, and yeah, I thought they were gonna give it to Charlotte because it was a triple threat match. That's what I thought, you know, because why else why else would it have been a triple threat? Why else would have been a triple threat match? And so that's why I thought Charlotte was gonna win, but they didn't go with Charlotte. And so yeah, so Charlotte, yeah, she lost, but she didn't get pinned. So she's gonna cry about it to management that she didn't get pinned, and so management is gonna give her another title shot. And so and then Charlotte, she's gonna win the title. She's gonna win the title. Unfortunately, she's gonna win the title from Rhea Ripley. And so that's where it's going. And I'm not a fan of it. I'm really not a fan of it. And I'm just not a fan of Charlotte Flair, man. I'm not a fan of how she's booked and everything, and how she just like like how she never puts anybody else over. That's the one thing I don't like about Charlotte, man. Is the fact that she doesn't put nobody else over. She's like the Cody Rhodes. She's like the Cody Rhodes of WWE. You know how Cody, like once upon a time, Cody Rhodes he once put over MJF, but nowadays, man, Cody, man, he is not putting many people over nowadays. And so yeah, that's Charlotte. She doing the same thing. She's doing the same thing by not putting others over. Just think about it, man. Go. Let's go back to last year, man. Let's go back to last year. You know, the Royal Rumble, the 2020 Royal Rumble. Shayna Baszler was scheduled to win that match. She was scheduled to win that match, but Charlotte she did not want to get eliminated by NXT star. That's what I heard. She did not want to get eliminated by NXT star. And so Charlotte she ended up eliminating Shayna Baszler. And so Shayna Baszler, she was supposed to win because she came out at number 30 and Charlotte was still there. And so she was supposed to eliminate Charlotte. And then towards WrestleMania, you had Charlotte. So yeah, Charlotte she won the Royal Rumble and she chose to go after the NXT championship. And so Rhea Ripley, she was the champion at the time, and so she got herself involved in the Bianca Belair and Rhea Ripley feud. And so yeah, so it was a WrestleMania match. It was Rhea Ripley versus Charlotte Flair in the empty stadium because of the pandemic and everything. And so Charlotte she beat Rhea Ripley to retain to get the NXT championship. And then when she won the NXT championship, she ain't do nothing with the NXT championship. Like nothing. Like she didn't do nothing with the championship. Like really, she done nothing with the championship. She didn't elevate the championship, and she didn't even elevate that women's division down there. And so, and then we went to In Your House. We went to NXT Takeover In Your House when it was a triple threat match. It was Rhea Ripley, Io Shirai, and Charlotte Flair for the NXT Women's Championship. And Charlotte Flair she lost the championship, but she did not get pinned. She did not get pinned. Io Shirai, she won the championship. She won the NXT Women's Championship. And you know who she pinned? She pinned Rhea Ripley. She pinned Rhea Ripley to win the championship. She didn't even pin Charlotte. So that's why she hasn't elevated the division. That's why she hasn't put nobody over, because she refuses. She refuses to get pinned, and she just refuses to put other people over, man. And like Charlotte, man, she is at that point in her career, man, that she doesn't need any more championships. Like she's already proven everything. She's already proven that she is the best. Like I guess the amount of championships she's held and all that stuff. Like, dude, she doesn't need no more championships. She needs to put others over. She needs to put others over. So yeah, that's my thing about Charlotte, man. But yeah, so Charlotte Flair, she will get a rematch. She will get a rematch, and she will win that Raw Women's Championship. And that's the end of it. That's the end of it. And so yeah, so that was it with that. That was it with the match. Decent match. I was shocked that Rhea Ripley actually won. I was expecting Charlotte to win, but yeah, that was it with that. So I guess Rhea Ripley, she's safe for right now, but once, I think it's gonna happen at SummerSlam probably. Charlotte gonna beat Rhea Ripley. And so yeah, so that was it with that. And so yeah, right after that we had a backstage segment, and it was from the Miz and John Morrison. And so yeah, they were talking about Damian Priest in the lumberjack match, and and Miz and Morrison, they were blaming each other that the match was happening and all that stuff. And so yeah, you had Morrison. He said that he had a plan to bribe. He said he was gonna bribe the lumberjacks, the tonight's lumberjacks. He was gonna bribe them to work with the Miz to get rid of Damian Priest. And so, and that was it. And that was it with that. And so yeah, right after that we had another backstage segment. It was from Bobby Roode. I'm not gonna call him Robert Roode. I'm not gonna call him Robert Roode. I'm gonna call him Bobby Roode. Bobby Roode and Dolph Ziggler, the Dirty Dawgs, the SmackDown Tag Team Champions, they attacked Dominik Mysterio, so they was bullying him, and so they beat him down. They ganged up on Dominik, and so yeah, so they cut a camera to the back saying that that Dominik, he couldn't compete tonight. The doctor said that he couldn't compete tonight because it was supposed to be a tag team match for the SmackDown Tag Team titles, and so the doctor said that Rey Mysterio, he's gonna have to find a partner. He's gonna have to find a partner. And so yeah, so Ray, he said that, I got this. I got this. I'm gonna do it alone. I'm gonna do it alone. So I got this. I don't need no partner. And so yeah, that was it with that. And so yeah, right after that we went to the SmackDown Tag Team Championship match. And so yeah, it was the Dirty Dawgs, who are the SmackDown Tag Team Champions. That's Bobby Roode and Dolph Ziggler versus Rey Mysterio and supposedly Dominik Mysterio, but Mysterio, he came out alone. And so yeah, so we had Mysterio. He went right after Roode and Ziggler. And so we had Rey Mysterio, he was fighting for his life. And so yeah, so we had a basement drop kick to Ziggler, and we had a sliding splash to Ziggler from inside of the ring to the outside of the ring. And so yeah, so Roode, he had attacked Mysterio, so the numbers had caught up to Rey Mysterio. And so yeah, so Mysterio, he tried fighting back, but Roode had caught him with a clothesline. And so the Dirty Dawgs, they had took control of the match. They took control of Mysterio. And so yeah, Mysterio, he fought back again, but the numbers still caught up to Rey Mysterio. And so Ziggler, he had targeted Rey Mysterio's leg, which was the focus of the match. And so we had an assisted famouser to Rey Mysterio from Dolph Ziggler. And so Mysterio had kicked out. And so yeah, we had an assisted super kick to Rey Mysterio from Dolph Ziggler. So Bobby Roode, he had threw Rey Mysterio outside of the ring. And so Dolph Ziggler had caught him with a super kick. And so yeah, so the referee was counting to 10. And so if Rey Mysterio doesn't make it back in 10, he's counting out. He's gonna lose. And so Rey Mysterio, he made it back into the ring at 9.5, so he almost got counted out. And so yeah, we had a double DDT to the Dawgs. And so yeah, so Mysterio, he was fighting back. He threw Ziggler into Roode, like he threw Ziggler and Roode into ring posts. And so yeah, we had Dominik. He had came out. So Dominik Mysterio had came out to the ring, walked out to the ring. He limped out to the ring, and so he got up on an apron. He got up on an apron. And so yeah, so Rey Mysterio, he was asking Dominik, like, hey man, what are you doing out here? What are you doing out here? And so Dominik, he said, I'm fighting. I'm fighting. That's why I'm out here. I'm fighting. And so yeah, so Dominik, he's in the match. So the odds are even. And so yeah, so Mysterio, he had took out Roode. And so Ziggler, he had caught Rey Mysterio with a zigzag. And so Mysterio had kicked out. And so we had a gutbuster to Mysterio from Roode, and he kicked out. and we had an avalanche bulldog to Roode from Mysterio. And so yeah, so right after Rey Mysterio, he was taking control of the match. Rey Mysterio, he hesitated. He hesitated to tag in his son. And so yeah, he did ended up tagging in Dominik. And so Dominik, he had took out Roode and Ziggler. And we had a spine buster, a beautiful spine buster to Dominik from Bobby Roode. I'm telling you, man, I love the spine buster, man. That's one of my favorite moves. So yeah, so Roode had hit a spine buster on Dominik. And so we had a double team move to Dominik from the Dawgs, from the Dirty Dawgs. And so Roode, he was talking trash to Dominik. And we had a super kick to Ziggler from Dominik. And we had a hot tag to Rey. He took out Dolph Ziggler. And we had a tilt-a-whirl backbreaker to Rey Mysterio from Roode. And Rey Mysterio had kicked out. And we had a 619 to Roode. So Rey Mysterio, he had his finishing move, the 619 to Bobby Roode. And we had a tag to Dominik. And Rey Mysterio, he had took out Ziggler outside the ring. And to end the match, we had Dominik, he hit the frog splash to Bobby Roode. So he paying homage to Eddie Guerrero to win the match. So Rey Mysterio and Dominik Mysterio wins the match and are the new SmackDown Tag Team Champions. And they're the first ever father and son Tag Team Champions in WWE. So that was it. Now, with this match, man, it was really, really good match. This match was. Now, in the beginning of the match, I was not interested in. I wasn't interested in the beginning of the match. It just felt like it was boring. But when Dominik had came out, that's when everything started to pick up. That's when everything started to pick up when Dominik had came out. And so the match turned out to be great. And we had a lot of great back and forth between these two teams. And it was a feel-good moment. It was a feel-good moment for the Mysterios, man. To be a tag team champion with your dad, man, father and son, really, really feel-good moment. And it would have felt good if we would have had fans. If we would have had live fans watching the Mysterios win the tag team titles. And so yeah, man, I really don't know. I really don't know who's next. Like who's gonna challenge the Mysterios for the titles. I'm guessing the Dirty Dawgs will get a rematch because in WWE, I think it's like an automatic rematch clause you get in WWE. But I thought they got rid of the rematch clauses. But yeah, the Dirty Dawgs, they will be getting a rematch. And right after the Dirty Dawgs, then who's next? Who's next? Like there's really nobody next. There's really nobody, no tag teams on the main roster on Raw or SmackDown. On SmackDown, you got the Dirty Dawgs, you have the Mysterios, you got the Street Profits, you have who else you got? Hopefully the Usos. I would love to see the Usos vie after the tag team titles. And Raw, all you have is the New Day. You have the New Day and the Viking Raiders, or the War Raiders, or whatever the hell you want to call them. And then you did have the Hurt Business, but you broke them up. You broke up the Hurt Business. So now now you have Team RK Bro, Randy Orton and Matt Riddle. Not a legit tag team. But yeah, that was it with that. You know, really, really good match with the Mysterios and the Dirty Dawgs. And a really feel good moment for the Mysterios becoming the first ever father and son tag team champions. And so yeah, that was it with that. And so right after that, we had John Morrison. He was backstage, and he tried to, he had a plan earlier that day to speak with the Lumberjacks. And so yeah, came up to the locker room door, and the locker room door said Lumberjacks. Like it had a sign that said Lumberjacks on the locker room door. And so he knocked on the door. And he opened up the door. And he opened up the door, and there were zombies, like zombies. I'm not lying. I'm not joking. Zombies. They had zombies in the locker room. And so Morrison, he had this scared look on his face. And so instead of closing the door, he left the door open and he ran away. And so the zombies had followed John Morrison, and that was it. And so yeah, and that was it with that segment. And so yeah, right after that, we had Jimmy Uso. He goes into Roman Reigns' locker room, and Jimmy, he was talking sense. He was talking sense to Jey Uso, because he doesn't like what Jey has becoming Roman Reigns' right hand man. And so basically, he tried to talk sense. He tried to talk sense to Jey Uso. And so both of these guys, they were arguing and stuff. And so Roman Reigns had came up, and so he asked, "Was there a problem?" Roman Reigns had asked, "Was there a problem?" And so Jimmy, he said that no, I just wanted to wish you luck tonight in your match against Cesaro. And so yeah, that was it with that. And so right after that, we went right back to the Miz and Morrison. And so yeah, so Morrison he told the Miz that, you know, that I saw zombies. I saw zombies, and so the Miz didn't believe him. He did not believe him. And so yeah, so Morrison, he thought he was crazy, but then again he thought that he saw zombies, you know, but the Miz still didn't believe him. And so yeah, Miz and Morrison, they had walked away. And so right after that, you had the horde of zombies that had walked out, following the Miz and Morrison, but they don't know about it. And so yeah, right after that, we went to the lumberjack match. And so yeah, and it was the Miz with John Morrison in his corner versus Damian Priest. And so yeah, the zombies, of course, were the lumberjacks in this match. And this match right here, man, it was freaking terrible, man. It was an embarrassment. But yeah, so the zombies, they had swarmed the ringside area. And so the commentary team had left ringside, and Morrison had left the Miz. And so yeah, right after that, we had the commentary team, that's Adnan Virk, the new guy, and Corey Graves and Byron Saxton. And they had commentated from a quote unquote safe area. So they commentated on a quote unquote safe area. And so yeah, so Miz and Priest, they were going back and forth. And we had a spinning heel kick to the Miz. And so the zombies that were outside of the ring, they had dragged both Miz and Damian Priest out of the ring. And so the Miz and Priest, they had fought off the zombies. And so yeah, so they went back into the ring. We had Damian Priest, he had hit the broken arrow to the Miz, and the Miz had kicked out of the broken arrow. And Morrison, he had came out to interfere in the match, and it's a no disqualification. And so Miz had hit the running knee to Priest. And so Morrison, he was outside of the ring. He had fought off the zombies. And so Morrison, at the end, he had got, quote unquote, eaten alive. So he got eaten alive by the zombies. And so to end the match, we had Damian Priest. He had his finishing move to hit the lights. Hit the lights to the Miz to win the match. So Damian Priest wins the match. And that was it, man. That was it. Ugh. Man. Like, this was a joke, man. This was not good. This was not good. And plus, man, I am not a fan of the Lumberjacks match. I'm not a fan of the Lumberjacks match. Not. Because, dude, Lumberjack match, you take away from the match. Like, the match is focused on the people that's outside the ring instead of focusing on the people that's inside of the ring wrestling. And so that's why I don't like the Lumberjack match. And zombies, dude, like, really, dude? Zombies? And so yeah, when I first saw it, I was laughing. I wasn't laughing because it was funny. I was laughing because it was stupid. It was stupid. That's why I was laughing. And so I was like, dude, like, what is this? Like what are they doing? And plus, dude, I don't know why Damian Priest. I don't know why Damian Priest is still feuding with the Miz and Morrison. Like, dude, the feud was over at WrestleMania. It was over at WrestleMania when Bad Bunny and the Miz, Bad Bunny and Priest had fought against the Miz and Morrison. The feud was over at WrestleMania, and Damian Priest and Bad Bunny had beat the Miz and Morrison at WrestleMania. So the feud should have been the feud should have ended right there. It should have ended right there. But they still going. They still going with this feud. Now, what I would do with Damian Priest, I would send him after the United States Championship. I'll send him after Sheamus and have him go after Sheamus in the United States Championship. That's what I would do. And so yeah, Damian Priest won the match. And so the zombies had ate Miz alive and all that stuff. And that was it. So Miz and Morrison, they got ate alive by the zombies. So hopefully the feud is over. Hopefully the feud is over. It better be over after that. Like what else can they do? What else can they do? Like really, what else are they gonna do? You need to move him on. You gotta move Damian Priest on to something else. Send him at the championship, man. Send him at the Sheamus. Or send him after the WWE Championship. Send him after Bobby Lashley. Send him after one of these guys, man. You gotta do something with Damian Priest, man. And so yeah, that was it with that. And so yeah, right after that, we had Jey Uso. He confronted his brother, Jimmy Uso. And so yeah, Jey, he asked him like, "Hey man, what are you doing, man? What happened earlier today? Like dude, why you all up in my grill with all that stuff about Roman Reigns and all that stuff?" And so yeah, so Jimmy, he's saying that, the locker room should be, Roman Reigns and Jey Uso. not just Roman Reigns and stuff like that. So he basically telling him that Roman Reigns is trying to manipulate Jey Uso. And so yeah, so Jimmy he had called Jey Roman's bitch. That's what he said. And so that angered Jey. And so that was it. And so yeah, right after that, man, we had the SmackDown Women's Championship match. And it was Bayley versus Bianca Belair, who was the SmackDown Women's Champion. And so this was when stuff started to pick up. That's when the show started to pick up. Right after all this terrible stuff, besides the SmackDown Tag Team Championships match. Yeah, so it was Bayley versus Bianca Belair, who was the SmackDown Women's Champion, and it was for the SmackDown Women's Championship. And so yeah, so both ladies they were trying to one up each other in the beginning of the match. And so Belair she had got the better of it, and so Belair she started to play mind games with Bayley because at one point Belair she was about to use the hair braid, but she tricked Bayley. And so yeah, so Bayley thought that Bianca Belair was gonna use the hair braid, and so we had a drop kick to Bayley, and we had a handstand moonsault to Bayley, and she kicked out. And so yeah, so Bayley she had grabbed Belair's earring at one point, so she grabbed at the ears. And so right after that, man, right after that, that was the point where Bayley she had took control of the match. And so we had a belly to back suplex to Belair, and she kicked out in the move. And we had a delayed vertical suplex to Bayley, a nice one at that too, man. Like, dude, Bianca Belair, she had muscled up Bayley. She muscled up Bayley with that vertical suplex, and that was really nice. Belair is really strong, man. She is really, really strong. And so yeah, we had a gore buster to Bayley on the ring steps, and then she had followed it up with a suplex. So Bayley she had suplex Belair on the floor outside in the ring. And then we had a fireman's carry sidewalk slam to Belair. It was a sloppy one too. And so yeah, so Bayley at one point she had bumped into the cameraman. She got knocked into the cameraman by Bianca Belair because Bayley she had went for a pinfall. She had got it with one move. And so she went for the cover, and so Belair had threw her up, and she went outside the ring, and she bumped into the cameraman. And so yeah, and then they played it in replay, so that was really funny. And so yeah, so Bayley she started to laugh at Bianca Belair. Right after Bayley she took control, she started laughing at Bianca Belair with that cynical laugh. And so yeah, that fired up Belair, and so Belair she took out Bayley. And so we had a spine buster to Bayley, she kicked out. I love the spine buster. And we had a clothesline to Belair, and we had a diving elbow drop to Belair, and so Belair had kicked out of the elbow drop. And so Bayley she had slammed Bianca Belair's face into the ring post at one point outside the ring. And then Bayley she had missed a tope suicida, which had to hurt, man. Bayley she did not land it right. She did not land it right. And so we had a glam slam. We had a glam slam to Bayley on the ring apron from Belair. And so yeah, so Belair she had brought Bayley back into the ring, and she went for the cover, and Bayley she had kicked out. And we had Bayley. No, we had roll-ups. We had roll-ups to Belair. And so yeah, so Bayley she hit a series of roll-ups. The first time she hit the roll-up, she grabbed the ropes, to use the ropes as leverage, but the referee didn't see it, and so she went for it the second time. The referee did saw it, and so yeah, so the referee saw it, and so Bayley she had raked Belair's eyes behind the referee's back, so she blocked it from the referee, the rake to the eyes, which is an illegal move. And we had a Bayley to belly suplex, a Bayley to belly to Belair off the. Yeah, it was off of Belair's brace, so it was a ripcord. It was a ripcord belly to belly suplex to Belair, so that was really nice. And so we had a roll up to Bayley, and Bianca she had used that braid for leverage to win the match, so that was the end of the match. So Belair she had rolled up Bayley and just used her hair as leverage to win the match. So Bianca Belair wins the match and is still the SmackDown Women's Champion. And so yeah, so right after the match, we had Bayley. She argued with the referee, saying that Bianca Belair cheated and all that stuff, and she was arguing with Michael Cole and Pat McAfee, and telling them to play like replay the replay or roll the replay. And so yeah, that was it. Really great match between Bianca Belair and Bayley. I would have saved it for SummerSlam. That's just me. I would have saved it for SummerSlam. Great back and forth. The intensity was there too. Belair she looked great in this match. Bayley did too. And and the reason why I said I'll save it for SummerSlam was because the WrestleMania Backlash show it was really WrestleMania rematches. It was really WrestleMania rematches. So it was a backlash of WrestleMania. And so Bayley, she wasn't even on WrestleMania. She didn't even compete at WrestleMania. She was on WrestleMania, but she didn't compete at WrestleMania. And so yeah, so it should have been Sasha. It should have been Sasha Banks getting a rematch. But I don't even think Sasha Banks ever got in a rematch. Did she? Correct me if I'm wrong. But I don't even think Sasha Banks got a rematch yet. So it should have been Sasha Banks versus Bianca Belair at WrestleMania Backlash. And then Bayley and Bianca Belair at SummerSlam. That's what I would do. That's what I would have done. But yeah, we might get a rematch. We might get another rematch between Bianca Belair and Bayley at the next pay-per-view. Maybe at the next pay-per-view or maybe at SummerSlam. I don't know. But it most likely might be at that next pay-per-view, which is Hell in a Cell. And so yeah. So yeah, that was it with the match. Really good match. And so yeah, right after that we had Kevin Patrick. He interviewed MVP. And so yeah. And so yeah, MVP he was talking about the triple threat match between Braun Strowman, Bobby Lashley, his guy, and Drew McIntyre. And and so MVP he said that Bobby Lashley he will overcome all the odds, and he will retain his championship. He will retain the WWE championship no matter what match it is. And so yeah, right after that we had the WWE Championship match, and it was Drew McIntyre, the Scottish Psychopath, versus Braun Strowman versus Bobby Lashley, who is the WWE Champion, with MVP in his corner. And so yeah, at the start of the match, we had Lashley. He tried to make an alliance with Drew McIntyre, so he tried to work with Drew McIntyre. So they tried to team up against Braun Strowman. And so Strowman he had took out Lashley and McIntyre. And so Lashley and McIntyre they double teamed Strowman, so they were teaming up against Strowman. And we had a double delayed vertical suplex to Strowman from McIntyre and Lashley. So that was very impressive, really impressive. And so yeah, we had an overhead belly to belly suplex to Lashley from McIntyre. And we had a cannonball. We had a cannonball from Braun Strowman off the ring apron to Bobby Lashley and McIntyre. So that was really impressive from Braun Strowman. You really wouldn't see Braun Strowman doing moves like that, but that was a really nice move from Strowman. And so yeah, we had a Uranagi. We had a Uranagi to Lashley from Strowman. That was nice too. He muscled that guy up. He muscled him up. And Braun Strowman, of course, he's a big guy. He is a really big guy. And to see Lashley muscle him up, man, that was really impressive. And so we had Lashley, he had tried to lock in the hurt lock to Strowman, but Strowman had overpowered it. And we had a diving crossbody to Lashley and Strowman from McIntyre. And we had a diving clothesline to Lashley from McIntyre. And we had an overhead belly to belly suplex to McIntyre from Lashley. And we had a one-handed spinebuster to Strowman from Lashley, which was nice. And so he muscled him up. He muscled him up again with that one-handed spinebuster. And we had Lashley, he had threw Drew into the ring post at one point. And we had steel steps at one point got involved in the match. So Braun Strowman, he had grabbed the steel steps and threw it at Lashley. And we had a suplex to McIntyre from Lashley on the stage ramp. So they were fighting near the stage. And we had a Glasgow kiss to Lashley from McIntyre. And so McIntyre, he had threw Lashley into the LED board. And the LED board exploded. And so exploded. Now they used it lightly, exploded. And so yeah, so Strowman he had blindsided McIntyre, and we had a running senton. We had a running senton to McIntyre from Strowman, and McIntyre had kicked out. And so yeah, we had a Michinoku driver, to Strowman from McIntyre. I love that spot too, man. He picked up Strowman. It was a smooth move. So yeah, he hit the Michinoku driver to Strowman, and Strowman had kicked out of the move. And we had an overhead belly to belly suplex, another one to Strowman from McIntyre on the floor, which was nasty. Strowman, man, he had landed right on top of his head, and the referee went to go check on him right away. Like quickly. He went to go check on him quickly. And so yeah, so really, really nasty spot. And so yeah, so McIntyre he tried to go for the Claymore kick on the outside of the ring. But Strowman he had caught McIntyre in midair off of the Claymore kick. And he had powerbomb. He had powerbombed Drew McIntyre through the announce table. And so yeah. And to end the match, or towards the end of the match, we had Strowman, he tried to go for his finishing move, that running power slam to McIntyre, but McIntyre, he had escaped the move, and he had the Claymore kick to Strowman. And then Lashley had came out of nowhere, so Lashley had recovered, and he had threw McIntyre out of the ring. And so to end the match, we had Bobby Lashley. He had speared Braun Strowman to win the match. So Bobby Lashley wins and is still the WWE champion. And so yeah, so great match. This is really great. Love this match. And I absolutely love the spots in this match. Really good stuff. And so yeah, man, I like with this match, man, I was shocked. I was shocked that Lashley won the match. I was shocked that Lashley won the match. I was expecting Drew McIntyre to win the match. That's just me. I was expecting Drew to win the match because it was a triple threat match. Usually in triple threat matches, there's usually a new champion crown. But, you know, absolutely shocked that Lashley won the match. Now, Drew, Drew, he did not get pinned. So this is the same with Charlotte Flair. So Drew, he did not get pinned. And so Drew, he might get a rematch because he wasn't pinned. So he's going to complain about it. He's going to complain that he didn't get pinned and it was Strowman that got pinned. And, he was going to complain that, I was this close from beating Strowman, but Lashley has stole my moment. So he's going to play up that to management. And so management is going to give him a rematch. But how many more rematches is Drew McIntyre going to get, man? How many more rematches is Drew going to get? Because, he had his match. He had his match and he lost the championship. He defended his championship, right? First off, he was WWE champion. He lost the championship to The Miz, and Bobby Lashley had beat The Miz for the title. And I think, yeah, so McIntyre, he wanted his rematch. And, yeah, so he wanted his rematch, and he got his rematch. He got his rematch at WrestleMania. He got his rematch at WrestleMania, and he lost. He lost clean. He lost. And it did not, and now he got another rematch. He had another rematch on WrestleMania Backlash. And now he's gonna get another rematch. And like, dude, nobody's gonna care anymore about Drew McIntyre and his WWE Championship run. Like nobody's gonna care anymore about him wanting the WWE Championship because he had chance after chance after chance after chance and he failed. And so he's gonna get another chance. And so he might win the championship because if he lose again, man, there's no more shots for Drew McIntyre. Right now, it's no more shots for Drew McIntyre. But management, they're gonna give him another shot, and he's gonna win the title. And so yeah, that was it with that. Drew McIntyre. I was really expecting Drew McIntyre to win the match, but he didn't win the match. And so yeah, that was it. And so yeah, right after that we had a vignette. And so yeah, I forgot to mention this earlier. So Hell in a Cell is gonna be on June the 20th. They said it was. Yeah, June the 20th. I think it was. What day is that? Sunday, right? June 20th. Yep, Sunday. So it's gonna be on Sunday, June 20th. And I was like, why? I was like, why are we adding so many pay-per-views? Why, like Hell in a Cell? Like really? Hell in a Cell? We don't need a Hell in a Cell pay-per-view. We don't. Just build up all these matches for SummerSlam. SummerSlam should be the next pay-per-view. SummerSlam should be the next pay-per-view that you should build up to. Not Hell in a Cell. Not Hell in a Cell. And like, dude, it's 5 weeks away. They said it was 5 weeks away. 5 weeks away. Why are we adding pay-per-views? We didn't even need a WrestleMania Backlash. We did not need a WrestleMania Backlash. We do not need a Hell in a Cell. Like SummerSlam is the next pay-per-view. It's WrestleMania and then SummerSlam. Why are they adding these pay-per-views? Why not build up your shows, your weekly shows as pay-per-views? Make the shows, your weekly shows, like a pay-per-view instead of adding these pay-per-views, these nothing pay-per-views. And so yeah, that was it with that, man. Not a fan of it, man. I am not a fan of it. And so yeah, right after that we had the main event, the match that I cared about, the only match that I was interested in on this show, and it was for the WWE Universal Championship. It was Cesaro versus Roman Reigns, who is the Universal Champion, the Tribal Chief Roman Reigns, the head of the table Roman Reigns, who is the Universal Champion, with Paul Heyman in his corner. And so yeah, before the match, Jey Uso, he wanted to come out and support his family, support his cousin. And so Roman Reigns, he told Jey to stay in the back. Like, dude, stay in the back. I don't need you. Like, stay in the back. And so yeah, so Roman Reigns had came out to the ring. I love his new theme music, man. I'm telling you, I love his new theme music. We've been waiting for new theme music for Roman Reigns, and we gotten it on SmackDown. And I love it, man. I love his theme music, man. It's like it got that final boss level, got that final boss level type music to it, and it got a mixture of the Shield music too. Like when it gets to that dana dana dana, yeah. But yeah, really really great theme music from Roman Reigns. And so both of these guys they were trying to outpower each other. Roman Reigns and Cesaro were, and so Cesaro he had got the better of it, and so yeah, and so we had a springboard European uppercut to Reigns, and then both of these guys they were going back and forth, and we had a jumping clothesline to Cesaro, and then Reigns he had pounded on Cesaro, and we had a Samoan drop. We had a Samoan drop to Cesaro, and he kicked out on the move, and we had a pop up European uppercut to Cesaro. No, to Reigns rather, to Reigns, and we had a corner European uppercuts to Reigns, and we had a big boot to Reigns. And so Cesaro, he had locked in the sharpshooter to Roman Reigns, and Reigns, he had grabbed the rope quickly, like very quickly. He grabbed the ropes. And so we had an over-the-top rope corkscrew plancha to Roman Reigns outside the ring. And we had a running European uppercut to Reigns outside the ring. And we had a diving crossbody to Reigns, and he kicked out. So Cesaro, man, he was controlling the match. He was taking control of Roman Reigns. And so Reigns, he had kicked Cesaro in the face. And then at one point, he targeted his arm. At one point, he had targeted his arm. And so the arm was the focus of the match. He targeted the arm the entire match. And so the arm was the focus of the match, and it played to the end, like it played towards the end of the show. And so we had a drive-by kick to Cesaro, and then Cesaro he tries fighting back, but it wasn't working. And then Reigns he had did a Daniel Bryan spot, like the arm breaker that Daniel Bryan does when he put his opponent's arm over his shoulder, and he just yanks the arm. Roman Reigns he did that to Cesaro, and so I loved it. I loved it because he was talking trash. You know, he was looking into the camera and he was talking trash to Daniel Bryan, who's sitting at home and all that stuff, saying that I hope you enjoy the retirement life and all that stuff, man. Oh man, where has this Roman Reigns been? Where has this Roman Reigns been for the last 6 years, man? I love this Roman Reigns, man. The absolute best, dude. And so yeah, so Reigns he was talking trash to Cesaro, and then he was pounding on Cesaro, and then Reigns he was arguing with the referee at that point. And so yeah, Cesaro he had took advantage of that. He started to attack Roman Reigns, and we had a discus clothesline to Cesaro. No, a discus clothesline to Reigns. I mean, yeah, a discus clothesline. It was a discus clothesline to Roman Reigns, and so yeah, so Cesaro he's paying homage to Mr. Brody Lee. I love it. And so yeah, so Cesaro he does, right after he hit the discus clothesline, he had done more damage to his arm, the injured arm. And so yeah, so Cesaro he started pounding on Roman Reigns, and we had a superplex to Reigns. Like really, it was a nice one too, a nice looking superplex to Reigns. And so he muscled up Reigns, who is not a small guy. So he muscled up Roman Reigns for that superplex, and Reigns he had kicked out of the superplex. And so Cesaro he started targeting Roman Reigns' leg, and we had a double foot stomp. We had a double foot stomp to Roman Reigns, and we had Reigns he had locked in the Fujiwara armbar, but Cesaro he had fought out of it. And we had a Superman punch in midair from Reigns. And so Cesaro he tried to go for the springboard European uppercut again, and Reigns he had caught him with a Superman punch, so that was nice. And Cesaro had kicked out. And Reigns he tried to go for the spear, but Cesaro had caught him with an uppercut. And we had Reigns he had locked in his submission move, that guillotine choke to Cesaro, but Cesaro he had overpowered it. And so Cesaro he had locked in the sharpshooter. He locked in the sharpshooter to Reigns. And Reigns he tried to overpower it, but Cesaro he had turned in the submission move into a crossface, and then Reigns he had overpowered the crossface. And so Reigns he started pounding on Cesaro over and over and over again, and he had a sit out powerbomb to Cesaro, and Cesaro had kicked out. And we had to end the match, we had Reigns rather, he had locked in the guillotine choke to Cesaro, and so Cesaro he tried to overpower it, he tried to fight out of it. He tried to fight out of the guillotine choke, but it wasn't working. And, yeah, at one point he almost got out of the hold, but Roman Reigns he had put the guillotine choke in another position. And so Cesaro he had he didn't tap out, he passed out. So Cesaro he had passed out. So therefore Roman Reigns wins and is still the WWE Universal Champion. And so yeah, right after that we had Jey Uso, he had came out to the ring with that red necklace that Roman Reigns wear. And so yeah, came in. So Jey, he had came into the ring and he had put the necklace over Roman Reigns, you know, showing his respect to Roman Reigns, his loyalty to Roman Reigns, acknowledging him as the tribal chief. And so yeah, so right after that, Jey, he wanted to get his hands on Cesaro. And so Jey, he was talking to Roman Reigns. He was like, "Let me get him. Let me get him. Let me get him. Like, let me get him." And so Reigns, he was like, "You know what? Yeah, you can go get him. Go get him." And so Jey, he went and attacked Cesaro. He beat down Cesaro. And so right after that, he was about to hit a splash on Cesaro, but Seth Rollins' theme music had interrupted. So Seth Rollins had came out to the ring, and I was like, "Dude, what is Rollins doing out here? What's Seth doing out there?" And so yeah, so Seth, he was walking out to the ring in this suit, this colorful suit, like a white suit. It looked like somebody painted all over his suit. So yeah, he came walking to the ring. He got into the ring. He got in Roman Reigns' face, and so they were staring at each other. And then like Seth Rollins, he started smiling. He was smiling in Roman Reigns' face. And so right after that, he went right after. So Rollins, yeah, went right after Cesaro. He started attacking Cesaro, and so yeah, basically picking up the scraps. He's basically picking up the scraps that Jey Uso had left. And so yeah, right after that, we had Reigns and Heyman and Jey Uso. They left the ring, and so Rollins, he was still beating out Cesaro, and he had grabbed a chair. Rollins did. At one point, the stream looked like it had cut off, but it cut back on. And so yeah, so he grabbed the chair. He had wrapped Cesaro's arm in the chair, and so yeah, he had slammed the arm. He had slammed the chair and the arm into the ring post. So he quote unquote broke his arm. And so right after that, we had Rollins. He had curb stomped Cesaro on the outside floor to end the show. And so Seth Rollins, he was yelling at Cesaro, saying that, "You know who I am? Do you know who I am? I am Seth freaking Rollins." And so yeah, that was it with that. And that was it with the show. That was the end of the show. And so yeah, it was this match right here. It was a really great match. The only match on this show that I did care about, man, was this Roman Reigns and Cesaro match. And so yeah, so the back and forth was really good, man. Cesaro, that never say die attitude from Cesaro. And Roman Reigns, of course, is always the best, man. Ever since he turned heel, man, he's been doing the best stuff, man, ever. And so yeah. And so Roman Reigns, man, who's next, man? Who is next for Roman Reigns, and who's gonna beat Roman Reigns? And the answer to that question is nobody. Nobody is beating Roman Reigns. Nobody. I don't care who you are. I don't care who you are. Nobody is beating Reigns. Nobody is beating Reigns. He is your tribal chief, and all of you, every single one of y'all, man, y'all gonna acknowledge Roman Reigns as your tribal chief and as your universal champion. Bow to him, acknowledge the tribal chief. And so yeah, so that was it with that. The only thing I didn't like about this was Seth Rollins. Coming out and just taking away Roman's spotlight. Roman Reigns, he just had a dominant win. He just beat Cesaro. And Seth Rollins, he just came out and just took away Roman Reigns' spotlight. That's the one thing I didn't like about it. But Cesaro and Rollins, they have history with each other, so I see why he came out and attacked Cesaro. But I would have played it differently. I would have had Jey do all the damage. To prove himself to Roman Reigns, like saying, "Hey, dude, I do belong here. And all that stuff. To just make Roman Reigns proud, man. I would have just had Jey Uso injure Cesaro and take him out for good. That's what I would have done. That's exactly what I would have done. I wouldn't have had Seth Rollins do it. I would have had Jey do it. And just have Roman Reigns looking in the background with a smile on his face. Like, yeah, I like that. That's what I would have done. That's what I would have done. But yeah, that was it with the show. That was it with the main event, and that was it with the show. And so, oh yeah, another thing, Rollins, he wasn't even booked for the show. So that's why I didn't like it that much. I would have much rather had Jey do it. But yeah, so yeah, that was it with the show. Overall, it was a decent show. It was okay. The beginning portion of the show, it was boring. It was bland and all that stuff. It wasn't interesting and all that stuff. But once we got towards the SmackDown Tag Team Championship match and the Women's Championship match, things started to pick up. And so, yeah, but yeah, it was really, really okay. It was an okay show. Okay, decent. Wasn't the best show. It wasn't bad. It wasn't completely bad. There were parts on the show that were bad, like that lumberjack match. But yeah, but overall, it was still a decent show. And so yeah, man, that was it with the review for WWE WrestleMania Backlash. And if you like this video, man, what are you waiting for, man? Hit the thumbs up. Hit the thumbs up. And if you're new here, hit that subscribe button. And right next to that subscribe button, there's a bell. Make sure you click on that bell so you'll be the first ones to know when my next video will come out, because I'm here each and every single week. So make sure you subscribe to the channel. You hit the thumbs up. You subscribe to the channel. You turn on that bell for all notifications so you don't miss out. Follow me on Twitter at Ryan Awesome Show. And yeah, man. And I'll see you guys for Tuesday for NXT. And if you miss anything, man, if you missed my last video, if you missed my Impact Wrestling Under Siege 2021 review from last night, from Saturday night, the video is gonna be right up here. Video is gonna be right up here, or right here. Yeah, right here. It's gonna be right up here in this corner right here. So if you missed that, the review from last night for Impact Wrestling Under Siege 2021, the video is going to be right up there. And the link to that video will be down below in the description. And yeah, man, see you guys for Tuesday for NXT. And yeah, man. And once again, guys, thank you for the support. Thank you for the support. Thank you, thank you, and thank you. And this has been the Ryan Awesome Show. Take care, stay safe, and that's that.